Okay guys, we're going to get things started here in just a second. Hello, and thanks for taking the time to join this free webinar today. My name is Dale Bateman. I'm a part-time internet marketer living near Toronto, Canada. My background is in graphic design, marketing, and personal training. Plus, I've been building my online business as a part-time internet marketer for almost 4 years. Now, before I get started with today's free webinar, let me share with you what I believe is the #1 mistake that most internet marketers make. And yes, this includes me, especially when they are just getting started. Because I am truly passionate about wanting to help people achieve more success in their lives, and hopefully you will learn from my mistakes. As you know, many people have had great success online. However, without even realizing it, they were creating only a short-term business model. Why? They didn't build a list. They create a multitude of products to sell online. Some are good, most are not so good. They sell them through forums, affiliates, and advertising. Maybe they make a lot of money. Most of the time they don't. Why? They didn't build a list. Some of the greatest online marketers have had pockets of success by leveraging things like Google AdSense. By implementing simple keyword strategies early on, some brought in a whopping 6-figure income. But then, Google changed the rules, and these once successful online marketers were left with almost nothing. Can you guess why? That's right, they didn't build a list. So why is a good list so important? Quite simply, a quality list will continue to pay you for your quality online content over and over and over again. It all comes down to the trust that you earn from your email list. They learn to trust you because you've taken the time to build a strong relationship with them. So, what's the best way to build a strong, loyal list? That's what we're going to be covering in this free webinar series. Now, I want to officially welcome you to this free internet marketing webinar. Let's get started. Grab a pen and some paper to make notes. Once the webinar is over, I'll open the floor for some Q&A. Right now, I'm doing high-level internet marketing and creating automated and passive sources of income online. Plus, I'm enjoying teaching people, just like you, how to do the same thing and make money online. But this time around, I'm making sure that everyone on my team is focused on building a list. Don't make the same mistakes that I made. Make sure that you take the strategies you will learn here and use them to build a strong, loyal email list. But remember, when you are successful, make certain that you take time for what's really important in your life, like spending more time with your family, or maybe doing some traveling you've always wanted to do, or being able to buy that new car you've always wanted. I mean, that's what's so great about working from home. You have the freedom to do what you want, when you want, and as much as you want. Now, let's get to building you a good list. Here's what we'll be covering tonight. This week, we will see how proper search engine optimization can help your business succeed. If you want to succeed with your internet marketing business, you need to master search engine optimization, or SEO, techniques in order to help you stand out, and also to stay ultra competitive in your online market. Now remember, guys, your 3 key steps to building your list and converting it to sales is create traffic, capture leads, and convert sales. I'll repeat that again. Number 1, creating traffic. Number 2, capturing leads. And number 3, converting those leads into sales. Now, SEO will help you accomplish these 3 tasks by generating what are called organic leads or organic search results from the search engines. And this happens coming to your blog or your website or your squeeze page. Now, in general, the higher ranked on the search results page you are, and the more frequently a site appears in the search results, the more visitors it will receive from the search engine's users. Now, before we begin to look more closely at SEO, we really want to understand what it does. Just having a good website or blog is not enough today. You always have to be optimizing your content to be seen by the search engines. And it's really your job as an internet marketer to accommodate the people searching for the products and services they need and want. SEO may target different kinds of search, including an image search, a local search, video search, academic search, news search, and even an industry-specific search. Now, I want to look at how we do this. But before, you have to understand, guys, that these days, just having that website is not enough. You won't be as successful if some type of optimization within your web page where search engines like Google won't be able to find and index your site effectively. And really, you need so much more these days just to get noticed by the search engines. Now, as we discussed before, with more and more potential customers using the search engines to locate the products or services they want, because let's face it, when somebody wants to find something, they go into Google or Yahoo or Bing or whatever, and they start searching. It's just an automatic thing nowadays. And they want to locate the products or services that they want. So we really need to accommodate them with the design and functionality of our website. So we have to take a look at how we do this. And I'm going to give you several strategies here. I'll show you each one in turn and then talk a little bit about it, about how you use it. Okay? So, how do we do this? Number 1, using effective keywords. Finding effective keywords is the beginning of your search engine optimization journey to the top of the results page. When they do their searches, your potential customers will usually only look at the top 5 results on any results page. That's right, I'll repeat that. Searchers using a search engine will usually only look at the top 5 results on the results page. If you're there, that's great, but if not, you won't make the sale. That simply comes down to that. So, using effective keywords that people are looking for is a key to having you show up in those top 5 search results. Now, last week we talked about keyword research. So if you need to go back and check that out some more, you can do so. But there's lots of tools out there that you can use in order to use the effective keywords that people are searching for. Okay, so that's number 1. Number 2, using social media. Now, the search engines are also looking more and more at how popular companies and online businesses are in the social media sites. And actually, the search engines like this. And if you are popular, you'll also improve your rankings in the search engines. So your popularity with social media will reflect on how high you rank in the search engines nowadays. Because things like Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus are so popular, and there's so many, billions of people using it every day, that really the search engines just couldn't deny that fact and that quantity of people and not have some of their metrics utilize what's happening with social media today in order to help or hinder your ranking. So, how do you get a good reputation in social media? Post often, just like you do with your blog. Post often, post things that people are interested in, even if it's a cool photograph or a video that you found. It doesn't even have to be your own, just something that people will find interesting and want to like, share, comment on, and so on, your posts in the social media sites. All of those likes and those shares and those comments and so on, people retweeting your tweets because they think they're cool, those kinds of things are what builds your ranking in the search engines eventually. All right? So that's how you effectively use social media to boost your SEO. Let's move on to number 3, which is backlinking. Now, the more backlinks you have, the more visible you are, and the more relevant you seem to the search engines. Search engines really like the backlinking, and they also will increase your rankings appropriately. Now, what do we mean by backlinking? This is when, this is when you include a link in your post. It could be in your, let's say again, back to Facebook, you've put in a post in your Facebook fan page about a particular topic, and you've included a link there that will take people back to your blog or your squeeze page or your website. That is a backlink. Okay, so it's something that takes people from where they are normally back to your own site. And once you have them on your turf, as I call it, at your squeeze page or on your blog, then it's up to how you've set up your blog or your squeeze page as to the result of that visit coming from that backlink. So remember that backlinking is very important. Some people are trying strategies. I see it more and more, especially on Facebook, where sometimes they don't include a link in their posts. And what they're trying to do there is they're trying to really get across that, hey, I'm not here to spam you. I'm not here to try to sell you something. I just have some cool content to show you. Maybe it's a cool photograph or a video or just a cool little story that I've written in the post. And I want you as a visitor to like and comment on and share my content. So sometimes you'll see people not include backlinks, but it's really a good thing, to always try to include a backlink. A key place for this is up in the upper part when you're doing a YouTube video. When you post a YouTube video, you should always make sure that in the top 1 or 2 lines of your description, you have a backlink that takes people to your squeeze page or your website or your blog. Preferably to your squeeze page, because that's where you're going to get the best results. That's where people are going to be given a choice, or they have to make a decision. They either enter their email and they're interested, or they don't and they're not interested and they move on. Okay, so try to make sure if you're including a backlink in your YouTube videos that you try to keep it in the top 1 or 2 lines, because YouTube hides all the rest of that description while people are initially watching your video. They actually have to click the show more button to see the entire description down below. So that's really important, is to keep those backlinks up high. Okay? Next up, number 4, title tags. Now you want to make sure that you include an original title tag on every page of your website, and make sure that it includes your keyword. Many people make the mistake of putting the name of their company in these titles, but in general, your company name will not get too many searches, while your keywords will. So, as an example, let's say that I'm going to put out a post, and it's going to talk about search engine optimization techniques. Now, would I put in Build Your Success Online presents search engine optimization techniques? Probably not, because people don't know, for the most part, what Build Your Success Online is. I would like them to know, and I'm working on getting them to know, but unfortunately, buildyoursuccessonline.com is not a household name yet. So I have to make sure that, even though I want to have, that title branded in such a way as so that people know that it's me and know what the kinds of things that I'm doing, it's really important for me to make sure that the title tag, or in other words, the keyword that I want to rank for in the search engines, is front and center in my title of my page, or my blog post, or the headline of my squeeze page. Okay? So that's title tags. Next up, number 5, internal linking. So we talked about backlinking. Now what's internal linking? Now we really shouldn't forget internal linking. When you use anchor text within your site, make sure that the linked text is a keyword or keyword phrase and not something like just click here. Okay? So on your web page, your squeeze page, whatever it might be, when you create that link that people will click on to, whether it's to download something or to go to an opt-in form to put in their email address, to add them to your list, whatever it might be, make sure that that link doesn't just say click here. Make sure it says click here to get your free search engine optimization techniques report, or click here to get the latest news from my newsletter called Search Engine Optimization Techniques. Okay? So those internal links, not only with the backlinking, with things that are going outside of your domain to bring people back, but also the internal links that you use kind of on a daily basis to have people perform some kind of a function that you want them to do in order to get a result. Make sure that those are not vague with just something like click here or click the button, whatever. Make sure that it includes your keywords and keyword phrases, because that's all going to help you rank. All right, what's next? Number 6, quality links. Now, what does this mean? This is one of the more overlooked tips for search engine optimization. So listen carefully and make sure you got your notepad there to take these notes. Most people think of link building, in terms of quantity. But in reality, the truth is that the quality of the incoming links are much more important than the quantity. One simple link from a high-quality site can offer you much greater results than lots of poor quality links, which can actually hurt your ranking. Now, you may not have realized this, but if you have, let's say you do a blog post, and you've got maybe 5 paragraphs of text. Maybe you've got a couple of images in there, a video that you've embedded. And between each of those 5 paragraphs, you've stuck in a link. Now that's a bit of what I would call overkill. All right? And it's actually going to hurt your ranking with the search engines. So it's going to hurt your SEO. What happens is Google or any search engines will start looking at your site, and they start indexing what's on the site, and they see this repeated number of links that are all basically going to the same place. And it doesn't make sense to them, and so that will hurt your ranking as a result. Because it has to make sense, it has to provide information, quality information that people want, because that's what the search engines are doing. Their job is to provide people with the best quality information according to what they have found on the internet. So if you've got, a little bit of text, then a link, then another little bit of text and a link, then an image that's linked to that same place, and another link, and another little bit of text, and another link, that's going to hurt your ranking. You're better off to let your copy flow from top to bottom. Sure, if you want to have an image in there that links to a specific place, that's cool. Then at the bottom of your blog post, put your main link for where you want people to go, and give them clear instructions. You might think it's silly, and a lot of people do when they're getting started, that, I don't need to click on the link and watch the video, but really, that's what people understand, and that's what will trigger them to do something when they're asked to do it. If you don't come out and say, I want you to click this link to check out my free report, or I want you to click this link and watch this video, chances are they won't do it. So you have to be very clear and tell people exactly what you want them to do, and use quality links. Don't just start throwing links in there every little bit of spare space that you've got. Moving on. Number 7, effective communication. This is really important, and this is where we kind of try to broaden our way of communicating into different forms of media. And I'll give you some examples. These might include things like video, maybe PowerPoint presentations, podcasts, news, press releases, social content, and so on and so forth. So I'll go over those again. We want to broaden our way of communicating to our audience to include things like video, PowerPoints, podcasts, news, press releases, social content, and so on. The more different ways that you can communicate what you have to offer, the better you will look in the eyes of the search engine. If you were to choose just one other form of communication, maybe that's video. Video is extremely hot and growing in popularity every day, so that's a really good tool to use. Okay? Remember I said in last week's webinar, really make sure whatever method you choose to try to build your audience and start creating that traffic and creating those leads and converting them to sales, make sure you become a master of one particular thing before you move on to other things. Okay? So as an example, for me, I tend to use primarily my blog, which is connected to Squeeze Page and a website. But the other thing I do a lot of is video. I try to do a daily video of video tips, which you can find, little plug here on my Build Your Success Online YouTube channel. There's daily tips there that you can look at. So what that does, and especially with YouTube, because it's directly tied into Google, which owns YouTube, and it's going to get a higher ranking of your material. Just make sure, again, that you're using the same keywords or keyword phrases in your videos and video titles that you are in your blog posts or your posts on your, say, on your social media. Okay, so they're all working together to create your higher ranking. Okay, that's effective communication. Broaden your horizons. Use other forms of communication. One more for you tonight, guys, and that is viral components. Now, quite simply, you want to make it easy for your visitors to increase your site's ranking. So add what can be termed as viral components to your website or blog. These could be things like social bookmarking, reviews, ratings, visitor comments, and other sharing tools. So you want to make it as easy as possible for your visitors to your website to share and increase your ranking for you. All right? That's why whenever you visit I'll call it a quality website, one that's been set up properly, you will normally always see some share buttons where you are encouraged, if you like the content that you're reading or you're looking at, to share that content on Facebook, on Twitter, on Google+, on Pinterest, wherever it might be. So by doing that, you are letting your audience, your visitors, do some of the work for you in creating your higher ranking. Because the more that stuff gets shared and posted and reposted and shared again, the higher your ranking, because the search engines are going to see that, and they're going to see that, hey, this person is getting really popular. They're doing things all over the place, and they're even bringing in other people to help spread the word of what they're saying. And those other people, of course, are your customers, potentially. Okay? So they all work together, all 8 of these things, to help you gain a higher ranking in the search engines using search engine optimization. So finally, we don't want to underestimate the power of social marketing. It can be a great contributor to your overall SEO results. Now, we'll be talking more about that in particular in a future webinar, so watch for that. But I want to get across to you guys, using SEO techniques like these will help, sorry, I got a typo there, will help you increase your online presence and help drive targeted, that's the key there, targeted traffic to your blog, to your website, and to your Squeeze page. Okay? The bottom line, SEO works, so make sure that you're using it. Okay? And as you see, with those 8 points that we went over today, it doesn't really take a lot of extra work to get some search engine optimization working for you. Okay? So, check your notes, go back over this recording when I post it, and go over those 8 points once more and make sure you're doing at least some of them. Even if you're doing a couple of them on a regular basis, it's going to help your ranking. And as you get better at it, and perhaps you're able to outsource some things, then you're going to be able to add more of them. Okay? Now, moving on. Here's your next 5-part action plan for success. So, if you're a first-time person here, every week I give you a 5-part action plan to help you with your success of your business, and primarily to get you more productive in your online business. Okay? And I'll repeat it again. You really have to treat your online business as a business. All right? This is your business that you're working at. Maybe if you're doing it part-time like me, it's harder to see it as a real business. But if you're doing it full-time, like a lot of people that I know, and more people are doing it because they're able to quit that 9-to-5 job and do their online marketing business full-time, which is great, and I'll get there eventually. But you really have to treat it like a real business, and these tips are meant to help you be more productive in that business. So, here's tonight's 5. And I'm going to go over each one individually and tell you a little bit more about what it means. Excuse me. So, number 1. I want you to go into isolation, and I've got isolation in quotes there. Now let me explain. It's imperative to remove all external distractions in the event that you find your plate filled with all high priority tasks. You need to focus all of your energy on one task at a time until it's complete. Okay, I'll repeat that. Focus all of your energy on one task at a time until it's complete, and then move on to the next task. Once all priorities are cleared, you may rejoin society. Okay? So, literally go into isolation, shut out all distractions, get those tasks done, and then you can move back into doing regular stuff. Okay? Number 2 tonight. Procrastinate productively. Okay, we've heard the word procrastinate before, I'm sure, and quite often it's associated with a negative, but here's my take on it. Excuse me. You want to procrastinate productively. Procrastination is always number 1 on the unproductive list. Most teachings teach you to avoid and refrain from procrastinating. However, here's the twist. In the event that you must procrastinate, try to procrastinate on something with a later deadline rather than something frivolous. Okay, so I'll repeat that. In the event that you must procrastinate, try to do it on something with a later deadline rather than something frivolous. Okay? So if you've got a definite deadline you have to meet and you start to procrastinate about it, try to focus that procrastination energy, if you will, on a task that has a later deadline. And don't just do something silly with it. Okay? Number 3. This is kind of a special thing because it's called the power of 3. Give yourself 3 must-complete tasks each day. Now, these should usually be fairly large tasks. And then take short breaks between each one to give your mind a break and switch gears. And if you do that, look at all the stuff you're going to accomplish. If you did that through the course of a regular work week, that's 15 big tasks that you're going to get done in that week. And that's a big accomplishment. So try that. Instead of looking at this huge list, or you've seen the image of the person at a desk and their inbox is just stacked up to the ceiling, break it down into 3s. Use the power of 3 and just focus on 3 big tasks to complete that day. All right? Okay, moving on. Number 4, you want to strike a balance between handling urgent issues and long-term solutions. That's what LT means there. So you need to strike a balance between handling urgent issues and long-term solutions. Let me tell you what that means. Some of us tend to handle all the things that pop up as soon as they come. Okay, and I know I'm guilty of that myself. Although it is a good habit to complete tasks that come up as soon as you can, you'll never move forward as a business if this continues. So divide your time between what's urgent and what's important, and make an even split between handling urgent issues and working on long-term solutions. All right? So if I'm working on a particular task that I want to do, and all of a sudden I get an urgent request from an offline client, or maybe it's at my regular job and somebody comes to me with something that, oh, I have to have this right away, you have to really look at it in relation to what you were doing originally and say, okay, do I honestly have the time to spend and move to this new task immediately? Or should I try to put this person off for a little bit of time till I can really get through this next hurdle with that big project I was working on originally, and then come back to their urgent request? Okay? So strike that balance between the urgent issues that come up all of a sudden and the long-term solutions to those tasks that you need to complete eventually. Okay, and they're important as well. Okay, final one for tonight. I'll let you guys go. Treat perfection like a process. And here's another part of it. Treat perfection like a process, not an achievable state. Okay? I'll repeat that one more time. Treat perfection like a process, not an achievable state. Perfectionism can be crippling to productivity. I know this all too well. My background, as you know from the beginning of the webinar, is in graphic design, and nothing visually is ever good enough for me, as it seems. I always have to make some sort of an improvement to it. And that, like I said, perfection can be crippling to productivity. Some of us can't even start projects because of perfectionism. Being a perfectionist and wanting to achieve perfectionism over a certain project is not a bad thing. However, it is unrealistic to expect it. So instead, I want you to aim for excellence and correction along the way. I'll repeat that statement. Aim for excellence and correction along the way. So you're not aiming for perfection, you're aiming for excellence and correction along the way. All right, so in other words, what you're going to do your best, and remember, and this is a key with internet marketing, because all too often people are waiting for what they deem as being the quote-unquote perfect time to get started. Well, do you know what the perfect time to get started is? It was like 5 minutes ago. It's right now. Okay? So don't wait for it to be perfect, because it never will be. If you wait for it to be perfect, you'll never get started. Get it to a point where it makes sense and it's as close to excellent as you can make it without putting it off, without procrastinating. Get it out there and correct it if you need to along the way. Everybody makes mistakes, and everybody understands that everybody makes mistakes. So don't worry that it's not perfect. Don't worry that your headline on your website or your banner on the top of your website is off slightly to the left or to the right, or it's too big or too small or whatever. It's there, And as long as you can click on it and go to a squeeze page, it functions. So people don't really care. Just remember that they're seeing it for the first time, whereas you've been perhaps agonizing over it for weeks, and there's really no need for that. Get it up there, get it functioning, and get it out to the masses. Treat perfection like a process, not an achievable state. Aim for excellence and correction along the way. All right? So there you go, guys. I went over time a little bit here, so I apologize for that. Let's just finish off. Putting these into practice right away, these 5 points, and you will see a gain in your productivity and your success. And with that, I want to thank you so much for joining the webinar tonight. And I would now like to open it up to questions and answers. So we'll open up the chat box, and if you have anything you want to ask, any comments, then please type them in and we'll get to them right away. Thank you again, guys, for coming to the webinar tonight, and I hope to see you here again next week. We do these webinars, I do them every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and each week we have a different topic. Right now we're into the internet marketing topic, and we're going to be doing this for about another 5 weeks. So we're going to have a 10-part series altogether. I'd love it if you guys would visit my website. It's buildyoursuccessonline.com. I've got a great tool there that you can have for free. It's called Affiliate Marketing Supremacy, and it's a great tool to get you started as an affiliate marketer. So that being said, back to Q&A. Thank you so much again. Let's open it up. Cheers, guys.